So why did you start Fit for Us? And what is Fit for Us?
Fit for Us initially started off as more like a call to action. It was like an activism based like group chat for Black trainers who were really looking to just bring about some level of like awareness and change in our industry. I very shortly realized that although that's important and needed, that work is not the capabilities that we have as a collective were greater than that. So we evolved into a creative agency. We've been a creative agency now since 2021. Our biggest clients are Meta, Kind, and Mom Body.
Okay.
And I was Kind as in like Kind snacks, not like the make bars.
Yeah.
They're really
I've had
good.
them. They're good.
Yeah, they're fire. Shameless plug, but not really. I say have to say, we just recognize that in terms of advocating for health equity through the lens of storytelling and advertising and marketing, that a number of brands struggle with that kind of storytelling. But more importantly than that, we know it better than anybody else because we really do exist at the centers and the margins of our industry, whether we're talking about Black OBGYNs, Black registered dietitians, physical therapists, trainers, coaches, etc. So we really do have the talent in terms of the network to kind of execute in a very, very high level, but simultaneously, the vision of how we articulate around the work and the storytelling capabilities that connect or the outcome is health equity, we do a great job with. So anything that touches wellness and/or fitness, health related, we are excited to narrate around on behalf of our partners. And then subsequently, what we've been doing is more like community-based programming and events through the care community, which is basically Fit for Us's program strategy for community-based events, addressing through workshops, of course, interactive workshops that address like maternal health disparities. We have an event coming up around heart disease and mental health awareness. So it's just about how do we creatively create intentional workshops that help people have a very hands-on learning and unlearning experience with regards to whether it be their mental health, maternal health disparities, et cetera. And it's been going great. Our partners are really excited to work with us. We're a very, very lean team, but we're able to move really, really fast. And I think in terms of like a capability standpoint, whether it's executing an event, identifying talent, coming up with a creative strategy, a PR campaign, like we really do show up in a number of macro ways that are super impactful, both for the community primarily, and then secondarily for our partners that I'm really excited about. Why did I do it? Because I could. I didn't really feel like, all I knew was that when I saw Equinox, New York Sports Clubs, and all these other brands, talking about Black Lives Matter, I'm like, y'all barely like y'all Black employees. And I don't say that in terms of,
Yeah.
like, I worked there, right? Like,
Yeah.
I have real experiences with these companies as an employee, and I recognize that the pay isn't equitable,
Nope.
right? The resources and benefits of working at a place as an independent contractor is just essentially aren't equitable. And then simultaneously, I know that they are not investing in those coaches and the people in my industry in a way that's fruitful and nor sustainable for anyone other than themselves. So no, you don't care about my community because you don't even treat your Black and brown employees well. So for me, that was more so an opportunity that I saw to really impact my industry by saying, hey, this is how we actually, instead of, looking at y'all and say, y'all could do a better job, I'm just going to look at y'all and say, I'm just going to speak really loud. And I think in doing so, we've been able to really center joy within our community and not just simply have these very daunting, sometimes highbrow and exclusive kind of conversations around like health equity. Like I feel like there are other folks within my industry, but every time they show up in spaces, it gives you the impression that like you got to be like Vogue adjacent or like you got to be on like the cover of Elle magazine. It's like, that's not real care. That's not wellness, right? Like for some people it might be, and that's cool. But I think ultimately the impact that I want to have is on the greater community. And it's not limited to, you got a Telfare bag and, you Givenchy or whatever that other nonsense people wear these days. It's very much about like community health. And yeah, I think I also recognize that like I got two parents. My mom is a pastor. My dad is a social worker. He, has been an addict, reformed for a number of years, almost as long as I've been alive. And it's like understanding that care isn't, people might be inclusive in terms of body positivity, but how do you feel about folks in the queer community, right?
Yeah.
People might be inclusive in terms of like, oh, yeah, no, it's dope, like queer folks, and yeah, cool, and I'm an advocate for body positivity. All right, cool. How you feel about addicts, right? And people who deal with substance abuse, right? Because to me, I see how the world kind of vilifies people who like live with STIs. Like they look at them like they're less than. And in my opinion, it's like, caring for folks is very much around being able to provide support and resources independently of whether or not you identify with their experiences or
It's
not.
true belonging.
Right. And it's like, I'm tired of hearing the cookie cutter stories and celebrating the people who are oftentimes the only ones we ever made to hear about. I think that real care is equitable, right? It meets you where you are, and it gives you an opportunity to have all the access to the resources you need to have an equitable outcome. So for me, it's like, food insecurity, gym deserts, obesity, mental health resources, maternal health, fibroids. If we're talking about like addiction, substance abuse, if we're talking about just the idea of like heart disease and how to combat that, like to me, that's what care is. It's providing resources and support in all of those ways and allowing the practitioners who have the community's best interests at heart to be the first one at the table leading the conversation. So I'm really excited, and yeah, I'm just going to continue to do the work because, before me, there was somebody else who really cared about it, right? And after me, there really will continue to be. And I think my job is between my time on this place and my time not here to support everyone else in terms of ensuring that they feel cared for. That's really what it's about.